Where do you live?
In the city.
Do you have a house?
Apartment.
Own or rent?
Rent.
What do you do for a living?
Lots of things.
Where's your office?
I don't have one.
How come?
I don't need one.
Where's your wife?
Don't have one.
How come?
It's a long story.
Do you have kids?
No, I don't.
How come?
It's an even longer story.
Are you my dad's brother?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
38.
I'm your dad's brother, all right.
You have much more hair on your nose than my dad.
How nice of you to notice.
I'm a kid. That's my job.
Question, in fact, there's a bunch of them, comes from box supporters in New Zealand and Australia. Good to have you guys here, by the way. Is there any reliable update on Warren and Evan's injuries? Are they expected to be available once Super Rugby begins again? The last we heard from Rossi is that he wasn't going to consider them for this England series as such, and is going to give them time as well. I know in the case of Warren Whiteley, he injured his knee again, same ligament, and I know there's been a lot of secrecy about that. But I expect him probably to come back somewhere in Super Rugby when they come back, and they've both been given a target of the Rugby Championship. So that's the next time you'll be likely to see them in a Springbok jersey again, if all goes well with the injuries. But injuries are like that, guys. Sometimes they take longer to heal, so we can only hope. Second question from box supporters in New Zealand and Oz is, when is the team being named? That's an easy one. It'll be on Thursday around about 10:30 South African time, 10:30 11. Just make 100% sure, but around then. It usually is carried live on SuperSport Blitz if you have a look there, if you have access to that as well. Okay, the next question. Where do injured overseas players like Vincent Koch and Marcel Coetzee sit in regarding Springbok attention? Their season is over, so they would have a chance to join the squad for Rugby Champs. Well, I think the first question I think Vincent Koch was the one guy I was surprised there wasn't in the squad, especially after the season he's had with Saracens, and I've been getting a lot of good reports from that side of the world about his form. I suppose the only thing Rossi wanted is maybe to go with a locally based side and not have too many overseas players in the squad. So I think you'll probably see Vincent back in the Bok jersey pretty soon. I reckon probably sooner than later, depending of course on injuries and results. So I'm sure he's in the mix as well. As for Marcel Coetzee, the last I heard he was still injured, so I think he hasn't played a lot of rugby in the last year or so as such. I think probably what Rossi would want there is for him and a guy like Francois Lowe to play a lot more rugby and maybe get some form back as well. I think there's enough, he's probably got enough resources at the moment, barring injuries, and I think he's alright for now, so he'll probably let them get back to full fitness first. Okay, last question from box supporters in New Zealand, Australia. Is Rossi planning to replace Peter de Villiers in his coaching team, or will Proudfoot now have a full-time role? Peter de Villiers, the scrum coach Peter de Villiers, not the ex-Springbok coach Peter de Villiers, was released from his contract to take up a position with Stade Francais with Heineken Meyer. He's gone off that side. Rossi hasn't said anything, but Matt Proudfoot is full-time employed by SA Rugby, so I would take it Matt would be the obvious guy. If you look at the box scrums over the last couple of years, they haven't been bad at all, and Matt's done some good work there. So I reckon I'll probably expect him to stay. Next question comes from Abed Erastus, at Abed Erastus. Do you think the box have enough breakdown threats to slow down turnover England at critical times? That is a question I've been thinking about quite a bit this week. Sia's normally a hybrid 6-7, and normally with a guy like Malcolm Marx in the team, there's an extra guy as well. But everybody needs to be a fetcher nowadays anyway. But those are our star guys in terms of the breakdown. Malcolm Marx, the guys in the centre is usually Damien, a guy like that. And then your flank is obviously Damien. Dwayne steals a lot of ball as well, so he will be looking to him as well. But I think that what we're going to be looking at is going to be more team defensive effort. That England use big runners, we've got to stop them. And then we're going to look for opportunities. I must admit, I would have been happy if Bismarck was in the side. Bongi does good work, but I don't think he steals as much ball as Bismarck, so I would have been happier there. So it is a concern, but it's not one that can't be overcome. But it is a concern. I agree with you there. Next question comes from my colleague JW Coetzee, Johan Coetzee there at SuperSport. Has Eddie lost his change room? Well, I suppose we'll see on Saturday. I suppose that's the easiest answer to that. I know Eddie enjoys the banter and there's a lot going on. He's under pressure. Took 60 points against the Barbarians, lost 4 in a row. Lots of pressure on Eddie at the moment, so he's going to be wanting to divert attention away from him as well. So I reckon there's pressure on Eddie. If he's lost his change room, I suppose Saturday will be the proof of the pudding. Next question from at Adams on Warren Waza. It's clear each nation has a game plan style that is executed during the game, but can a nation fundamentally change their style if it's already embedded in their grassroots? Good question, Warren. I think you should never go away from your roots anyway. You should be able to adapt. I suppose that's the best way of saying it. The All Blacks have always had an expansive style. The French have always had an expansive style. You know, South Africa's always been physically dominating. We've always had big guys, and we shouldn't go away from those strengths. But we just need to know when to employ these. We can't have you need a multifaceted game nowadays. And I think you need. The problem with our rugby a lot of times is we've just stuck to one thing, and we've tried to just overdo one thing. The box kick, using our forwards totally, playing 10-man rugby. I mean, there's enough examples of all this happening that you guys, you all know them as well. I think you need to be able to attack when the space is on, and you need to be able to use your forwards when it's necessary. To me, at the end of the day, rugby is an easy game. It's a training with info, simple game to understand. Your forwards dominate, your fly-off keeps your forwards on the front foot, and you create space out wide. When it's easier said than done, I know it's a lot more complex than that, but that's it. So I don't think we should ever go away from our strengths. But can we change it fundamentally? I don't think we need to. Seriously, don't think we need to get away from our strengths, guys. I think we just need to know when to utilize them well. So I don't think, to answer your question, you can change it if it's fundamentally in your roots if you really try, but I don't think it's necessary, and I don't think the box is necessary for the Springboks. I think we can add facets to our game, rather, is the answer I'm going to give. Okay, hope that answers your question. Okay, we're getting close to the end now, but next one comes from @RugbyRanting. With Bismarck not an option, who do you think will fill the shoes better between Chili Boy and Akka? Every hooker's got their strengths, but I think a guy like Bongi Mbonambi will start this weekend. My only concern there is his lack of game time, but he is a hard-working hooker, and he's really a great guy as well. So I think he'll start, but I think on the bench between Chili Boy and Akka, it depends what you want. Akka's got that explosiveness. He comes on, he's got a great running ability. Chili's more a hard-working classical hooker. His line-out's a lot better, so it depends what Rossi wants. But I might see Chili Boy in there. I think he had a good game against Wales. And my last question comes from Tahmuddin Miller. I hope that pronounced that right. Or tag with a South African flag on the Twitter profile. In your opinion, do you think Rossi will make use of John Mitchell and Paul Feeney as consultants to assist with our skills and game intelligence? If not, what would be the reason not to? They are, after all, part of the rugby setup in SA. Might as well use them. I agree with that, and I think Rossi's agreed with that as well. I think if you know that Swace, the brain, is on tour with the Boks at the moment. He's been there a week now with the Springboks as well. In this June series, he'll be with them, and looking obviously at using some of his attacking play to help the Boks out. I know that John Mitchell's been approached, and I know he will be with them, and I know Rossi plans to use all the franchise coaches at some point in the next sort of year or so to help him out as well. So John Mitchell will definitely be there. Paul Feeney, well, I'm not sure. I haven't heard his name yet, but there's no reason why not. And if Rossi deems his skills necessary, I'm sure he will use them. But I agree. I think we need to use more consultants. We need to bring more intellectual capital into the team, and a mixture of ideas is always a positive thing for a team. So yeah, so that's the questions, guys. I hope I answered them all right for you. This is the first in the series. I'll be doing more of these as well. Remember to, if you haven't already, tick that subscribe button and the little bell there to get the notifications for new rugby videos. But yeah, great chatting to you, and thank you for the questions. I appreciate them. I'll do another one next week as well. Cheers.